Sort of see all that fine metal in that oil. Welcome back, everyone. So I've hit just over 100 hours on tractors, 107. So I was thinking that, well, 100 hours, there should be something that I need to do to the tractor. In my book, on page 35, is the break-in period. So it actually has all the stuff you're supposed to do at 100 hours. So just to tell you real quick, engine oil and filter, and then it says to change the transmission hydraulic oil filter, and then the front axle fluid. So I decided, well, I guess I need to do that. And so here's all the stuff that I purchased. We've got the oil filter for the hydraulics. Have 2 gallons of the low viscosity high guard fluid. It takes 1 gallon for the front axle. They were not able to tell me how much oil was needed to change out the filter. So with me figuring it out, it's right around 2 quarts is what you lose whenever you change the filter. And then I've got the engine oil and filter to be able to change that. So I turned the bucket down all the way and used the loader to lift the front end of the tractor off the ground, set the emergency brake, and there's 3 drains. There is one right there on the bottom of that side, one right there, one right here on the center of the axle. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up and get this oil drained out. So you guys can see that stuff is a little dark in color. And right there is the plug. I don't know how well that's focusing. I don't know if you can see that metal dust that's piled up on top of there. I'm gonna let this side drain out. I did pull or loosen the fill cap dipstick to allow air in, just so it would drain faster. Once this side's done draining, then I'll get the other side drained out, and then I'll get the center. Here's what that plug looks like after it's cleaned off. I got all that metal cleaned off of it. You can sort of see all that fine metal in that oil. Never mind the other junk in there. It was already in the bucket. Well, that's done. So I went to go look at pulling this oil filter off for the hydraulic, and I decided I need to rinse it off a little bit. I probably should have done that before I started the front, but oh well. So underneath the left side of the tractor, right there, probably a little hard to tell with it being everything painted green, but that's that guy. Well, I had to run to the store. We'll see if this little guy will help me get this filter off. Well, geez, that sucks. Son of a gun. Freaking thing broke right off. Well, don't go to Family Farm and Home and buy that guy. Not worth a crap. Only has 2 fibers. Pulled right out and snapped off. Well, that's what I used to get that filter off with. Not necessarily ideal, but it worked. So if you've ever checked the hydraulic oil on this tractor or one similar, it's clear and it's hard to see on the dipstick. So since I already changed the oil in the front axle and had an empty 1 gallon jug, I tried draining the filter out as much as I could into the pan that I used to catch the oil. I poured it all back into the gallon jug. And by looking in here, since it doesn't have the clear line on it, it's looking like about 2 quarts. So I'll put 2 quarts in just to take back or put back in a rough amount, and after the tractor runs for a little bit, I'll check the level again and top it off as needed. So I already ran the tractor and checked it for leaks around the filter. No leaks anywhere, so we're good there. Now we'll check this oil level. Don't know how well you guys can see that, but that is very, very clear. And we're levels about right there. Now that the fluid's changed in the front axle and the hydraulic oil filter is changed, all that stuff's good, fluids are topped off, change the engine oil and filter. So I'll go ahead and get that done. I've already let the engine warm up. Well, I'm going to leave that oil level right there. Start the engine up and run it. Check it. And then top it off. So there's the 100-hour service. Engine oil and filter, hydraulic oil filter, and the fluid in the front axle. The couple other things that I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and grease all my pins again, or my grease fittings. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the air filter out and blow it out, just as a precautionary thing. Nobody has asked how often that I grease the loader or the grease fittings at all. So there's a little tip or little helpful hint that a salesman had told me at one time, was to keep the grease gun beside your fuel can or wherever you're fueling the tractor up. Every time you put fuel in, grease it. I don't know, that's what I've been doing. So I've been greasing it quite often. I would rather go ahead and grease it and keep from wearing pins and bushings out, especially the trunnion there on the front axle and the loader. But it doesn't take that long to do. It takes just a couple minutes. Just a little tip to pass on, let you guys know what I'm doing. So if you guys want to do the same, great. All right, you guys have a good one, and thanks for watching.